Hi everyone, it's your favorite drama hub. Before we dive in, hit like, subscribe and turn on notifications, because tonight you're about to witness one of the most unforgettable New Year's Eve stories our neighborhood has ever seen. Picture this: streets shimmering with holiday lights, laughter echoing from every corner, children darting around, and families and friends gathering to count down to midnight. But little did anyone know, the calm, festive atmosphere was about to collide headfirst with the notorious neighborhood watchdog, Mrs. Linda, whose obsession with control and perfection was legendary. Weeks of careful preparation went into this party. The backyard sparkled with twinkling fairy lights draped over fences, inflatable reindeer and snowmen waved cheerfully in the crisp winter air, and a professional sound system hummed with a perfectly curated playlist. Tables were adorned with holiday-themed decorations, the aroma of sizzling appetizers and desserts filled the air, and a cozy fire pit crackled softly. Guests arrived in waves, carrying dishes, drinks, and laughter that blended with the ambient hum of conversation. Children ran between decorations, their faces reflecting the glowing lights, while adults mingled, sharing stories and enjoying the calm before midnight. Everything seemed picture-perfect, a scene worthy of viral footage. But in HOA neighborhoods, perfection often invites scrutiny, and in this case, it bred Mrs. Linda. A middle-aged woman with piercing eyes and a sharp tongue, she lived directly across the street. Her reputation preceded her. She had long cultivated the persona of neighborhood enforcer, interpreting every minor infraction in the strictest way possible. Mrs. Linda measured joy by the level of disruption it caused her, finding subtle ways to undermine celebrations, passive-aggressive notes, formal complaints over trivial matters, and relentless observation from behind lace curtains. Most neighbors tried to maintain civility, but tonight, that fragile truce was about to crumble spectacularly. As the party grew louder and more energetic, a tension hung invisibly over the street. Music pulsed in rhythm with laughter, champagne glasses clinked, and children's giggles echoed across the yard. Across the street, Mrs. Linda scanned the scene, her eyes narrowing at the lights, decorations, and joyful chaos she deemed offensive. In her mind, this celebration was a direct affront to neighborhood decorum. With meticulous determination, she reached for her phone, 911. Minutes before midnight, she was ready to act. The call was swift and exaggerated, describing noise and chaos far beyond reality. Sirens approached in the distance, usually a sign of safety, but tonight promising confrontation. Neighbors paused mid-laugh, whispering in disbelief. Police, a mix of experienced officers and rookies, arrived cautiously, expecting real disturbance. Yet the scene before them was orderly, joyful, and festive, a perfectly peaceful celebration. Mrs. Linda attempted to assert authority, gesturing toward the property, her face flushed with indignation. Guests subtly recorded the scene, sensing the absurdity of her overreaction. Confetti cannons popped, children performed impromptu dances, and fairy lights shimmered like stars. Officers observed quietly, questioning the credibility of her claims. Her gestures grew increasingly theatrical, as if performing for an audience that had already turned against her. As the countdown approached, tension coiled tighter. Guests clustered near the edge of the yard, champagne glasses in hand, smiles frozen in anticipation. Across the street, Mrs. Linda braced herself, confident in her victory, but the universe had a twist in store. Fireworks erupted in sync with the final seconds, illuminating the night sky and reflecting in everyone's eyes, including hers. One slightly misfired firework sent harmless sparks into her perfectly manicured yard. Guests stifled laughter, officers ensured safety, and the visual irony could not have been more perfect. The HOA enforcer was left flustered, the celebration continuing uninterrupted. Phones and cameras captured every detail: the perfectly timed fireworks, the calm professionalism of police, the laughter of guests, and Mrs. Linda's growing frustration. Her attempts to assert authority fell flat, drowned out by evidence of a joyful, orderly gathering. Social media erupted, sharing the karmic justice in real time. Her neighbors whispered, aware that her reputation for intimidation had been completely overturned. But the story didn't end there. In the aftermath, conversations buzzed through the neighborhood. People laughed, shared screenshots, and recounted every absurd moment. Mrs. Linda flailing as sparks flew, police explaining the exaggeration of her claims, and fireworks illuminating the perfect irony. Children mimicked her dramatic gestures, while adults shared commentary online. Her reputation transformed from feared enforcer to a cautionary tale, a living reminder of what happens when obsession with control collides with reality. Residents explored HOA bylaws, realizing private celebrations of reasonable size were legally protected, exposing how overreach and obsession could spectacularly backfire. Neighborhood gatherings grew bolder, laughter louder, and unity replaced fear. Weeks later, the HOA quietly adjusted enforcement policies. Warnings became clearer, guidelines were rewritten with resident input, and residents felt empowered to celebrate openly. The family hosting the party, once anticipating fines or reprimands, became symbols of resilience, planning, and calm celebration. Every New Year's Eve afterward carried a nod to that unforgettable night, a reminder that careful joy and preparation can triumph over overbearing control. Footage resurfaced online, children reenacted events playfully, and social media revisited the story repeatedly. Conversations at mailboxes, morning jogs, and porch chats often returned to the drama. By mid-January, Mrs. Linda no longer intervened as aggressively in neighbor plans, subtly acknowledging the lesson learned. The neighborhood had been transformed, balancing order with community spirit. The family's home became a local symbol of clever celebration and calm defiance, showing that joy and composure can overcome obsession and entitlement. Each year, the streets celebrated with renewed confidence, laughter, and camaraderie, remembering the night when karma had a front-row seat and justice, poetic and perfectly timed, had been served. This New Year's Eve story would live on, a legend of HOA drama, karmic justice, and the power of community. It proved that rules lose their grip when people stand together calmly, legally, and visibly. Entitlement, exaggeration, and obsession could not withstand the visible strength of a united, joyful neighborhood. And while Mrs. Linda retreated into private reflection, the rest of the neighborhood continued to thrive with stories, memories, and viral footage of that unforgettable night.